Good morning, class. Today we are going to study on the chapter the flower. Now we are going to study that what is the flower. When we study about the flower, then we all know that the flower is that beautiful part of the plant. That is that beautiful part of the plant that attract our attention towards the plant. That is the so beautiful part, and it helps in the pollination as well as it attracts the insects to itself. And flower only get converted to the fruit, which we ripe and we get the fruit and we eat it and we get the multivitamins and all that, and the tasty fruits like mango, like the guava, and all the different varieties of fruits we obtain from the flower, whether it is the grain or whether it is the plant, whatever it is there. And in some flower we are just create the beauty of our garden. So flower is a very essential part of the plant. So today we are going to study about the flower and its part. So this is the flower. Its section has been cut here. A floral part is being shown. So what is this? The green part of the flower is called as the sepals. The green part of the flower is called as the sepals, which are collectively, when several sepals are collectively present there, then they are called as the calyx. What they are called? They are called as the calyx. Now, after this sepal, the colored part, the upper part of the flower, which is colored part, whether it is in red in color, it is white in color, whatever color is there, that is called as the petals. And petals collectively, many petals join and they are called as the corolla. So we had studied about the two walls of the flower. There are four walls of flower, but one by one we are studying. The first wall of the flower is called as the sepals, which is green in color. And the second wall of the flower is called as the petals, which are generally colored and are collectively called as the corolla. Now coming to the third essential part of the flower. These petals and sepals are considered as the non-essential part of the flower because they have only work to attract the insects. They have only work to protect the flower androecium and gynoecium, the essential part and all the things. So they are just non-essential part, but they are also essential in the sense of protection and all the things. They are a medium, serving as a medium for the further development of the flower into fruit or whatever the thing. So these are the non-essential part of the flower. Now coming to the essential part of the flower. Essential part of the flower is the anther filament. Means this is the male part of the flower. This tube-like structure present here is called as filament, and this two lobe-like structure present here is called as anther. And these both combinedly form as the stamens. Stamen is the male part of the flower, and it is also called as the androecium. Sorry, here spelling is written wrong. It is also called as the androecium. Okay. Now this is the male part of the flower. Coming to the female part of the flower. This is the bisexual flower in which both male and female part is present. So here there are three types of structure. This is the stigma. This two long-like structure is called as the stigma. This stalk-like structure is called as the style, which serves to join the stigma and ovary. And this third part of the portion is called as the ovary. The outside, the basal portion, and in that the particular egg-like structure is present is called as the ovules, and these are collectively called as the pistils, and collectively many pistils if present is called as the carpel, and its unit is the gynoecium. So this is all about the four walls of the flower. Now the stalk of the flower from where it is starting, it is called as the stalk of the flower, and is also called as the stalk of the flower, and then this is called as the receptacles. This swollen structure from where the ovary is arising, that is called as the receptacles or thalamus. Thalamus or receptacles is that structure that where the ovary of the flower plant as well as all the walls arises from this particular receptor, or it is also called as thalamus. So what we had studied that flower had the four walls. The first, starting from the first, there is a stalk from where the flower arises, and then the swollen structure, it is called as the thalamus or receptacle, which bear all the four walls. Coming to the fourth wall, the first wall is sepals, which are generally word is being used because there are some exceptions also. So generally they are green in color, collectively they are called as calyx. Petals are generally colored in appearance, they are called as collectively corolla. Then the male part is called as anther and filament, that is called as the stamen, or its unit is called as the androecium. And this is the female part, which is called as the stigma, style, ovary and ovule, which is collectively called as the pistil, and collectively pistils are called as the carpel, and the carpel unit is the gynoecium. So this is the four walls of the flower. Now coming to the, if this flower is the four walls, one thing more. Sometimes this happens that sepals are green in color, but sometimes it happens that sepals and petals both are similar in color. Might be the sepals are colored, as the sepals are green in color, so both are same in color, so it might be that this is colored portion, this is also colored, and might be that it is green in color, so this is also green in color. So there are two conditions when sepal is equal to the color of the petal. So these two conditions are called as the when sepal is equal to the petal, then it is called as the tepals. That are called as the termed as the tepals, and collectively the tepals means collectively the sepals and petals when they are same in the color, same in the appearance, then are called as the tepals, and collectively they are called as the perianth. But there are two cases. If the sepals is green in color and petals is also green in color, that means sepal portion of color is being increased to the petals also, means this is also green in color, then that condition is called as the sepaloid perianth. Sepaloid perianth means perianth is the total thing, total both are same in color, that is called as the perianth, but both are green in color, that is why sepal condition is being dominant here, so that is called as the sepaloid perianth. And when this is colored and this is also colored, that means the petal condition is dominant over the sepal, so that is called as the petaloid perianth. So there are the two conditions when sepals and petals are both similar in color, and they are called as the sepaloid petals or petaloid petals, depending upon the condition of the color, that which color is dominating, either sepal color or the petal color. Okay. Now coming to the complete and incomplete flower. Complete word itself means that it is carrying all the essential things, all the things. So complete flower means these all the four whorls, sepals, petals, means calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. These all the four whorls are present in the flower, that is called as the complete flower. And if any one of the whorl is absent, that means either the flower is unisexual, only male flower is there, or it is only the female flower. So that means all the four whorls are not present in a single flower. That means it is not a bisexual flower. So that's why that is called as the incomplete flower. If any one of the whorls is missing in the four, calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, then that flower is called as the incomplete flower. Now, coming to the sexuality of the flower. Sexuality of the flower is of three types. First one is the unisexual flower, second one is the bisexual flower, and third one is the neuter flower. So coming to the unisexual. Unisexual means the flower in which one flower is male flower, means carrying the androecium, stamens, filament, and the next flower, and it is not carrying the female part. And a next flower it is carrying the female flower. That means the ovary, the style, stigma, and ovary, all the things is being present in it. So male flower is different and female flower is different. So that means it is denoting a unisexual, a single sex it is denoting. It is a male flower and it is a female flower. So that condition is called as the unisexual condition. It is also of two types. If stamen is present, means male part is present, then this flower is called as a staminate flower, and if only female part is present, then this flower is called as a pistillate flower. Okay. Now the condition coming the best example of unisexual flower is a papaya. Bisexual condition means both the type of, means complete flower is there, means both the male and female part are present in a single flower, that is called as the bisexual flower. That is the best example is this hibiscus flower, that is we are called as the gurhal flower, that means hibiscus flower, that is the bisexual flower. It is having both the androecium, gynoecium, and all the four whorls are present, so it is complete flower also. Now coming to the neuter flower. Neuter flower means it is not having any androecium, gynoecium. It doesn't have any male and female part. The ray florets of the sunflower. Sunflower is a example of neuter flower. So we had studied about the sexuality also. Three types of sexuality is there. Unisexual flower, which is carrying the stamen, then it is called staminate flower. Pistil and pistillate flower. Bisexual flower and neuter flower. Now, after completing this, there is a one term more, bracts. What is bracts? If the flower is just arising from the axil of the leaf, if there is a leaf present in the flower, the diagram is given in your book also. If there is a leaf present in the flower and the flower is just arising from that particular part of the leaf, see here, if there is a leaf present on the flower, and if the flower arises from this particular part of the leaf, then this is called as the bract. What is it called? It is called as the bract. Okay. Now next leaf. We all know that flower gives us the sweet fragrance. Our sweet smell is coming from the flower, so that the sweet fragrance is just coming from the nectar. And what are the nectars? Nectars are the cells which are secreted from the nectary, which are just present at the beneath of this petals and sepals. It is just present here, which help in the giving fragrance to the flower. Nectaries cells are there that help to give the fragrance to the flower, or just we could say that a smell, a pleasant smell to the flower. So that is the nectaries. Okay. Now we already studied about that. What are the general terms? Now we are going to study about each and every part of the flower: sepals, petals, androecium, gynoecium. Listen. Description of the floral part of the flower. Now coming to the calyx means sepals. They are generally 3 to 5. The sepals are generally 3 to 5 in number. They may be less than 3 to 5 or they may be more than that also. It is depend upon the condition and about the flower, that which flower we are talking about. So that is it. Sepals are free means if sepals are just free, they are not united, means each and every sepals are just free. They are just arranged. That is called as the polysepalous condition. And if the sepals are fused, means if the sepals are just like this, fused condition, all the sepals are joined at the adjacent portion, then that is called as the gamosepalous. So if the sepals are free, that is called as the polysepalous. If the sepals are joined, they are called as the gamosepalous. If the second series of the sepals, means if the sepal is present and one more sepals like green color sepals are present here, then that particular portion is called as the apicalyx. That is generally seen in the hibiscus plant. When we take the gudhal flower or hibiscus flower, then we will see the sepals are present, as well as the beneath that sepals, few being more type of sepals, small sepals type structure is present. That is called as the apicalyx or episepals. So they are green. We all know that the sepals are always green in color, but if in a condition that sepals are not green in color, it is just the colored like the flower, then that condition is called as the petaloid sepal. This condition we already studied there. The best example is the gulmohar, which has the red color of sepals, because sepals are generally green in color, but due to that fragrance, that the dominant character of this particular petal, it is also got the red color. So that is the gulmohar. That is the example of petaloid sepals. So what is the main function of sepals? It protects the bud of the flower. When the flower is in budding condition, means the flower is just closed in the budding condition, which we call as the kali. So that is called as the flower is in the budding condition. Then it performs photosynthesis as well as the protect that particular bud. So this is about the calyx. Calyx are generally 3 to 5. They may be less or more depending upon the condition. If they are just free, then they are called as the polysepalous. Just few, they are called as the gamosepalous. Several series of sepals are present, then it is called as the apicalyx. Second series of the sepals is present. They are green sometimes, they are just colored. The example of gulmohar, and it is called as the petaloid sepal. It serves as the protection of the bud as well as protect from and perform the photosynthesis also, because they are generally green in color. Coming to the next part means petals, which is collectively called as the corolla. The corolla means all the petals collectively called as the corolla. They are also called petal. They are the petal single word, sometimes double. Petals are generally single word, means a single type of petal is being present, a single. Sometimes they are also present in the form of double sepals. That is the condition of the poppy plant. They are just double, means two petals are present. It is called as the poppy plant. Spirally means if it is called like a spiral, it is present. The diagram is being given in your book. Spiral means just like the spring. They are just found in the form of a spiral, and that particular petals means the arrangement or the shape of the depending upon the sepal. Petals. They are just categorized according to the spirally. That is the example lily. If you see the lily flower, then it is its petals, means its colored part is just spirally arranged. Means its arrangement is just spirally. So that is called as the lily. Spirally arranged, that is called lily. Double arranged, that if the petals are double, means the colored part is double type of arrangement, and it is called as a poppy. And single ball are generally found mostly. If they are free, means each and every petals are divided from the axil, they are just separated, then that condition is called as the polypetalous. And if they are fused, means at the adjacent they are just joined, only at the top they are just flipped to give appearance, good appearance, and if they are joined at the last, then they are called as the gamipetalous. Sometimes these petals form a tube-like structure. Sometimes these petals form a tube-like structure, and when tube-like structure is present in a petal, then it protects the stamen as well as the pistil. If it is bisexual flower, it is unisexual flower, then it protects that particular stamen and pistil inside it when it is forming just tube-like structure. So that is condition of the corolla. They are colorful. They attract the insects for the pollination. So these we are studied about the calyx and corolla, means sepals and petals. Now coming to the androecium, that is the male unit. which is the essential part of the flower. These all are the non-essential part of the flower, and this androecium and gynoecium is the essential part of the flower. So we are going to study about the androecium. Androecium means stamens, which are collectively called as the androecium. Now, unit of stamen is called as the androecium. They may be few to large. The androecium may be few to large number, and androecium we all have seen that is divided into two parts, filament and anther. These anther are two lobe. When we cut the transverse section of anther, then we would say that there are two chamber are there, and in each chamber there is a pollen sac where pollen grain is present. And this pollen grain which is present in this sac, they are only responsible when the dehiscence, when the mature plant, mature anther is there, then it just get ruptured and release the pollen grain. What is the pollen grain? Pollen grain is like just powder like structure which go to the female part and just fertilize it and then develop the flower, develop the fruit or develop the seed according to the condition of the flower. What is the flower? So this is the two-lobed anther is present. When we cut the transverse section, there are 4 pollen grain present. If we cut in the transverse section, in each sac there are 2 pollen sac, and in each sac there are 2 collectively 4 pollen grain are being present. Okay. Pollen grain are powdered in structure, have different size and shape, and help in the fertilization and pollination. So these are the conditions. One thing more. When the stamens are free, means if stamens are just free, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the stamens are free, then that condition is called as the polyandrous condition, and that is observed in the petunia flower. In the petunia flower, which is it is just observed as a polyandrous condition. Now, depending upon the stamens free, how many stamens are free? There are 3 conditions. If the one stamen is free, one stamen is just free, then that is called as the monadelphous condition. If the 2 stamens are free, that means only if monadelphous condition means only one stamen is presently there. And diadelphous means if 2 type of arrangement, means a number of stamens are there, then 2 type of arrangement is there. Just like the P, in P there are 10 stamen are there, 9 are just present fused together, and 1 is just separated. So what is formed? 2 type of stamen, 2 condition of stamen. So that is called as the diadelphous condition. And the polydelphous conditions means filament united in the several group. Means the filament of the stamen, which is this filament of the stamen united in the several group. Means united single several group. That is called as the polydelphous condition. That is the best example is the bamboo. Bombax or bamboo we could call as. Now androecium, what we had studied, that androecium is the stamen. Stamen may be few or more. Their stamen, if they are fused, then it is called as the polyandrous condition, the petunia. If they are one single, then it is called monadelphous. If they are present in the 2 part, that means in the pea plant, 9 one fused and 1 are different part, that is called as the diadelphous condition. Polydelphous means several are formed, group formed. And what is this is the knob-like structure called anther, and this is the stalk-like structure is called the filament. Knob-like structure, when it got the transverse section, we see that there are 4 pollen chamber in which pollen grain is there. When the plant matures, then this pollen grain rupture out and just go to the stigma and just fertilize that particular female flower. Now, after completing the androecium, we come to the gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female part of the flower. Collectively, it is called pistil. It is unit of the female part of the flower. Pistil means pistil. Collectively called as the female part. So pistil, they may be 1 or more. They are having pistil may be 1 carpel or more carpel. And what is this part? Pistil? Pistil contains 3 parts. Stigma, style, ovary. We already studied stigma, style, ovary. So what is the stigma? Stigma is this terminal knob-like structure, which is feathery in appearance. Its most important work is to attract the pollen grain and stick the pollen grain to its surface. So its pollen grain come, it is the site where pollen grain come and just stick to its surface for the further entry up to the ovule and to fertilize that particular flower. So this is the gynoecium. First part is the stigma. The second part is the style, means this is stalk-like structure which main function is to join the stigma to the ovary. So this is the stalk, style, and then the ovary. Ovary is the basal swollen part. This is the basal swollen part is called as the ovary. It may be single chambered or it may be double or many chambered. It may be single chambered or it may be double or many chambered, and these chambers are called as the locules, and they are carrying the round body like structure that is called as the ovule. Now, how this ovary is just arranged on the axil of the flower, that condition is called as the placenta. Placenta is present, which placenta is just joining the ovary to the axil of the flower. So this is called as the female condition. So we had detailed studied about the calyx, corolla, androecium as well as the gynoecium, female part of the flower. Androecium, anther and filament, pollen grain and all, and this gynoecium, calyx, stigma, style and ovary. Placenta we already studied. Now there are two more parts there, inflorescence and placentation, two important parts. Mode of the arrangement of flower to the axis of the plant. Here we are talking about solely about the flower, that how the flower is being arranged on the axis of the plant. If this is the condition, and if the flower is present like this, if the flower is just present at the tip of the flower, if the flower is just present in the way this like. So what is this? Arrangement of the flower on the axil of the plant is called as the inflorescence. And what is placentation? Manner in which ovule are arranged to the wall of ovary. How this ovule means this egg cells are arranged to the wall of ovary. How this ovule are arranged to the wall of ovary, that condition is called as the placentation. So what we had studied today, once more I am just revising. We all had studied about the flower, it's all 4 parts. We had studied about the complete incomplete flower, we had studied about the sexuality, unisexual, bisexual, neutral flower, nectaries and bracts we had studied, and then after that we had studied about the essential and non-essential part of the flower. Then we all had studied about the sepaloid perianth and petaloid perianth, where the sepals and petals are just like the similar part. Then we all had studied about the description of each part, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. And then we had studied about the inflorescence, that means mode of arrangement of flower to the axil of plant. And then we had studied about the placentation, means mode of arrangement of ovule in the ovary or the wall of ovary. These all are this chapter the flower, and you all have to complete exercises of this chapter. I think each and every topic is being clear, and if there is any problem you all could consult me anytime. I'll there to help you. Okay?